Good morning, my fellow mountain athletes. How are you? I'm Anthony Rubio from here at Recal Training. I'm the founder and head coach here. High five for showing up on a Monday morning and starting your week off right. And that is with me doing some breathwork training. I'm excited to share with you today's training session, which is a continuation of our base foundation walkthrough. We are on to the A in the base, which stands for altitude adaptation protocols. As a reminder, for those of you that aren't familiar with base stands for all the areas that we focus on in your breathwork training. B, that means better breathing mechanics. A, that means altitude adaptation protocols. S, that means strengthen respiratory muscles. And E, elevate your performance, ideally the result of working on the B, the A, and the S. These principles are what we've used to help hundreds of athletes climb some of the highest mountains in the world and finish some of the most challenging ultramarathons. When it comes to altitude adaptation protocols, I refer to three main categories of adaptations. The first one is carbon dioxide tolerance. If you can train your carbon dioxide and tolerate more of it, you're going to feel less out of breath, both when you're training and when you're on the mountain. I'm also referring to hypoxic adaptations. So how do we actually simulate hypoxic conditions in the body just using our breathing? And therefore we start to make some adaptations in the body that are going to help us when we arrive at high altitude. And then lastly, it's the combination of both hypoxic and hypercapnic, which means high carbon dioxide, and intermittently working our way through both of those. And the combination of hitting on all these three are what the research has shown provides the most well-rounded and best results to help you perform better on the mountain. So get yourself ready to breathe smart and breathe strong with me for the next 25 minutes or so in this area of altitude adaptation. This is going to be on the more challenging side of our publicly available breathwork training sessions. So get yourself mentally prepared for that. And I just want to remind you, of course, at any time, if some of these protocols and these exercises become too difficult, just go ahead and stop, take a breath, literally, and just come back and join whenever you feel comfortable. All right. We're going to begin today's session in a seated position, as we pretty much always do. But on your way there, you can grab a couple of optional pieces of equipment. Today, that means if you have an altitude simulation sports mask, you can bring that into the fold if you want to really take the challenge level up. I won't necessarily be coaching my way through that. Obviously, I need to talk, but it is an option for you if you want to up the ante here today. And then lastly, if you've got a yoga mat, we are going to do some things on the ground with a yoga mat, maybe a blanket, or whatever type of space feels good for you to be able to lie down on the ground. And if you don't have any of those things, don't worry, you're going to do just fine. Okay, last bit of admin. Today's session will include some strong breath holds. This session should only be done by those that are in good health, do not have any heart conditions, are not epileptic, and you're also not pregnant. So those are my conditions, risk factors for today's session. If you happen to fall into any of those categories, I advise you to sit this one out. You can go to our YouTube page for all the other training sessions that we do with a different focus, and you'll still get a lot out of those. Okay, let's begin in today's seated position. We're going to flip the order. Normally, we start with that nose unblocking exercise, but I actually want to give you an idea on where your own carbon dioxide tolerance is at. The way that we're going to do that is with something called a CO2 TT score. I'm going to share my screen. That screen's going to have a timer on the window, as you can see there. The way that a CO2 TT score works is we're going to take a normal breath in, a normal breath out. Then we're going to take a really big breath. You're going to fill up as much as you can, and then you're going to begin an extremely slow exhale. You're going to try to extend that exhale as long as you possibly can. And when you can't extend it for any longer and you squeeze every last bit of air out of your lungs and you just need to take that new breath, take a look at the score that's on the screen. That is your carbon dioxide tolerance test score. Okay, from that seated position, sit up nice and straight, relax your shoulders to your side. Take a normal breath in with me and a normal breath out. Now begin that deep inhale. Filling up, filling up, filling up. And now begin that slow exhale, ideally through the nose with your mouth closed. It's like the air is just leaking very slowly out of your nose. You're trying to extend this exhale as long as you possibly can. Try to work with that feeling of breathlessness that's going to come up during this exercise. This is a stressful one. Get to the point that you squeeze every last bit of air out of your lungs. You can do it. If you've ended already, just take some normal breaths. Maybe even write down what score you had. If you're still going, awesome job. I'm going to let the timer run for another 10 seconds. You're at 1 minute. All right. That is all in terms of showing the timer on the screen. Great job. We're going to come back to the timer for some other things that we end up doing today. But high five once again. That's the second high five today. I normally don't do that for going through your CO2 TT score and giving it your all. Nice job. All right, we're going to do a little nose unblocking exercise. Once again, you can tuck that CO2 score to the side. That's just one of the biometric assessments that we do in order to assess our breathing. But we're going to do some nose unblocking exercise now. So from that seated position, once again, take a normal breath in, normal breath out. At the bottom of that exhale, pinch your nose and hold your breath. Just simply rock your head back and forth. We're going to clear up that nasal airway. Maybe over the course of doing this, you're going to feel like there's more moisture developing in your nose. You're still holding your breath with me for 3, 2, 1. Release. Breathe in through the nose. Maybe you feel that cool air run in through the nose. Now, when you exhale, maybe you feel more warm, moist air coming out. Take just a couple of normal breaths. Once again, normal inhale, normal exhale. Pinch and hold. Gently nod your head yes, holding your breath. Just relax into the breath hold for 3, 2, 1. Release. Breathe in. I'm going to sound like a broken record for those that have been doing this training with me for a long time. When we do a small breath hold like this, we allow a little bit of time for nitric oxide to develop inside that nasal cavity. Then when we break the hold and we breathe in through the nose immediately after, we're bringing in that nitric oxide. That helps with gas diffusion into the bloodstream, and it helps to dilate our blood vessels. That's the dynamic duo of the benefits of nitric oxide. Okay, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, gently rock back and forth. I want you to reach a medium level of air hunger, that feeling that you need to take a breath. A medium level of air hunger during this breath hold. Stay here with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Breathe in. Good. Maybe take a nice big stretch. I oftentimes yawn even when I'm coaching, doing breath work. That's typical too if you're doing some sort of breath work. With that big stretch, maybe you lean to one side, then the other side. Shake things out. Good. We're going to come and do an exercise called Breathe Light. This is designed to train your carbon dioxide tolerance. So this is the first of those 3 adaptations that I talked about. The way that we're going to do this is very simple. We're going to breathe lighter than we normally would, hence the name Breathe Light. To ensure that we're breathing lighter, we're going to use our finger as a guide. Go ahead and place your finger beneath your nose, just resting on your upper lip. Be sure to relax your shoulder here and your elbow should be somewhat down. Just relax. Take a couple of normal breaths in and out through your nose so that you can feel the air as it runs across your finger on the way in, and then back out across your finger on the way out. And now that you have an idea on what that quote normal breathing feels like, start to slow down your breathing so that you can barely feel the air as it runs across your finger on the way in and back out across your finger on the way out. And at some point within the next minute or so, you're going to have that feeling of air hunger because you're breathing so slowly, your body wants to take a bigger breath. That feeling of air hunger is the rising existence of carbon dioxide in your blood. It is changing the pH of your blood, and your body is becoming progressively more and more sensitive and aware of that change in pH. Try to harness that feeling of air hunger and stick with it for another 30 seconds or so. This should be uncomfortable yet tolerable. If at any point your breathing becomes too erratic, take a couple of normal breaths, aka if you've lost control of your breathing, take a couple of normal breaths and then just drop back into it when you can. We're here just for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release. Take a few normal breaths. Good work. That is breathe light. And again, it helps train that CO2 tolerance. Now we're going to move on from just CO2 tolerance. We're going to do some intermittent CO2 tolerance training, also known as hypercapnic training. Hyper meaning high, capnic meaning carbon dioxide. Hypercapnic plus hypoxic, low oxygen. See, we're going to play with both of those things for the next 5 exercises. This first exercise is going to be 5 reps of 2 different exercises, to be clear. The first of our 2 exercises we're going to do in this category is simply called preparation for high altitude simulation. Then we're going to do high altitude simulation, which is also known as intermittent hypoxic hypercapnic training, which is exactly what I said a moment ago. So go ahead and stand up from that seat. This is where this becomes more challenging today. So just get yourself mentally prepared for this. I'm here with you. You can do it. The way that preparation for altitude simulation works is we take a normal breath in, normal breath out. Then we're going to pinch the nose and hold the breath after that exhale. Just a passive exhale, not one that we squeeze the air out, just a passive exhale. And then we begin walking. And here during preparation, we're going to walk for maybe 15 steps. Maybe we up it the next rep to 20, maybe even that third rep to 25 or so. It kind of depends on your carbon dioxide tolerance if you can tolerate that many steps. So we're going to do this 3 times, progressively increasing the number of steps that we take on that breath hold by 5 each time. 15, 20, 25. You do need a little bit of room for you to be able to walk, whether that's back and forth or in a big circle. Hopefully you've got space right now to be able to do that. Okay, let's do it. Standing up nice and straight. Relax your posture. Take a normal breath in through your nose and then a normal breath out. Go ahead and pinch your nose and hold your breath and begin walking now for 15 steps. And when you're done with those steps, you can go ahead and stop. Breathe normally. And when I say normally, here as your breathwork coach, I refer to normal being through the nose, nice and slow and low, engaging your diaphragm with each and every breath. Nose, slow, and low. We're here for 3 more recovery breaths. Then we're going to do our second rep at 20 steps. Taking one more breath in, one more breath out. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, and walk for 20 steps. This should be somewhat difficult. When you're done with those steps, once again, stop, come back to nose, slow and low, normal breathing. Maybe even rest your hand on your lower belly just to feel that tangible sensation of the belly expanding with the inhale and contracting with the exhale. Good. One more time. We're going for 25 steps this time. Take a normal breath in through your nose. Normal breath out. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, and walk for 25. Good. When you're done, breathe normally. Good. You might feel a little bit of that stress from that feeling of breathlessness during that. Good work. We're just warming up the system. We're introducing more carbon dioxide into the system, which also, much like the nitric oxide I mentioned earlier, helps to dilate the blood vessels. We're playing with the biochemistry of your blood. We're playing with the pH levels. This is how we can help make some of those adaptations. In these very acute controlled environments that we're changing for the body, we can make these adaptations that are going to help us on the mountain. Okay, now we're going to do 2 reps of a more intense version of what we just did. That was preparation for altitude simulation. Now we're going to do the actual high altitude simulation, also known as intermittent hypoxic hypercapnic. We're going to start the same way that we did. You take a normal breath in, normal breath out. You're going to pinch your nose. You're going to hold your breath. You're going to walk. Now, however, when it becomes difficult, a medium level of air hunger, one might say, you begin to jog. Yes, this is why it becomes difficult. You're going to go until you reach a strong level of air hunger, and then you stop. And here's the most critical part of this exercise. I want you to try to resist taking a big breath and just take 6 small little sips of air in and out through your nose. This is going to force the diaphragm to contract. It's going to try to force a big inhale. So this is a bit of strength training for that diaphragm, but we're also training the mind. We're training the carbon dioxide tolerance in that moment. Then when you've done those 6 tiny sips of air, sniffs of air, I should say, in and out through the nose, then come back to normal breathing. We're going to do that again for one more time. Okay, get yourself ready to rock and roll. This is intermittent hypoxic hypercapnic training, also known as high altitude simulation, and you are getting after it this morning. Take a normal breath in, normal breath out. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, and begin by walking first. And when you reach that medium level of air hunger, turn it into a jog. Jog until you reach a strong level of air hunger. And then stop. Take those 6 tiny sniffs of air in and out through the nose. And then come back to normal nose, slow, and low breathing. Good work. I know this is challenging stuff. You are doing awesome. You can shake out your body, shake out your arms, shake out your legs. If you're doing this, maybe already in this first set, you might feel a little bit of jelly legs. That's that feeling like your legs are kind of tired, like you're building up some lactate inside your muscles, which you are when you're starving those muscles for some oxygen there at the very end of this breath hold, hence the hypoxic element of it. We're going to continue to recover for another 40 or so more seconds. And we're just going to do this one more time. If you feel comfortable with it, if you feel safe with it, you can push it even further this next time. Remember, a strong breath hold like this, you have more than enough oxygen in your system. It's really just the tolerance to the rise in carbon dioxide that's making you feel out of breath. Our challenge during breathwork training is to become friends with carbon dioxide. So let's make CO2 your friend. Let's take one last breath together in through the nose. Exhale out. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, and start by walking. And when you reach that medium level of air hunger, turn it into a jog. Come on, everybody. Clear your head, drop into your body, feel your body move. You can go further than you think you can. Go as long as you can, and then take those 6 tiny sniffs of air. Maybe feel your diaphragm do some work. And then come back to nose. Slow and low breathing. Give yourself a smile. Let's smile through the stress, right, people? All right, good work. We're going to make our way to that lying down position on a yoga mat now. We're going to send our body through a little wave of breathing. This next exercise is the last one. It is specifically targeting the hypoxic response in the body. So this exercise is called controlled hyperventilation with strong breath holds. If you've ever done a Wim Hof method breathing session, this is very, very similar to that. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera that I'm using and the microphone because I am going to lie down on the ground with you. So give me just one moment while I do that. Okay. So I'm here with you. Go ahead and make to that yoga mat or whatever position on the ground feels right for you. If you want to, you can either keep your knees up in a position like this and might bring a little bit less stress on your lower back, or you can just drop your legs down near to the ground. What we're going to do is that controlled hyperventilation, maybe 30 or 40 deep breaths. I advise you to do this like a wave. So maybe you've got your hands, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. And when you breathe in through your nose, you're filling your belly first and continuing the inhale into your chest. And then exhale out. I'll do a few more like that so you can see the breath wave. You probably get a feel for what that looks like now. We're going to do 30 to 40 deep breaths like that. Then I'm going to coach you through one last exhale through the mouth, let the air go, and then you're just going to relax and you're going to hold your breath as long as you can. You can drop your legs during that moment, just relax your whole body. And you're going to go as long as you can on that one held breath. This is why hopefully we reach a hypoxic state because our oxygen levels are staying high, and then they'll drop off at some point in time. We want to reach that point that it drops off. This is creating that very acute, very controlled moment in time, and we reach a hypoxic state for the body. Whenever you need to take a breath, though, go ahead and take a full breath in. Then you can hold your breath just for 10 seconds and then come back to normal breathing. And I'll guide us back out through the exercise. Okay? So I'm going to guide you through this now. One hand on chest, one hand on belly. Go ahead and begin breathing in through your nose, fill up your belly, then the chest. Fill through your mouth and let the air go into the belly, chest. Exhale out. Good. Belly, chest. Exhale out. Great. Find your rhythm of breathing. Maybe close your eyes. Just notice any of those sensations happening in your body. During this exercise, you might feel lightheaded because you're increasing your breathing rate. That actually causes your arteries to constrict slightly. This is going to make you feel lightheaded, but trust me, there's more than enough oxygen flowing in your system and making it to your brain. Keep on breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Over halfway through the breathing portion of this exercise. Keep going. If you yawn at any point in time, just allow the yawns to come. If you feel any tingling sensations in the hands or the feet, try to relax into those feelings. Know that you are okay. We're coming down to our last 10 breaths. Make these the deepest 10 yet. We're sending the body into this stress state through our breathing. That's okay. You are okay. Last 5 breaths. Last 4 breaths. Last 3 with me. You can do it. Last 2 breaths. Last 1 breath on your own. And with me, take a deep breath in. Fill up the belly. Fill up the chest. Exhale it out. Let it go. And hold your breath. Clear your mind. Relax your body. Notice that flowing energy that's still moving through your body. And just observe what's happening in this moment. Once again, you're trying to hold your breath as long as you can on this one breath hold after exhale. If you're holding on to any tension anywhere in your body, you relax into that space. You can hold your breath longer than you think you can. Remember, whenever you need to take a breath, take that big breath in to fill up your lungs and then hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Those of you still holding, great job. Those of you done, just come back to normal breathing, observing your breath as it moves in and out through your nose. I will pretend people are still holding for the next 4, 3, 2, one. And if you haven't yet, go ahead with me. Take a big breath in. For those of you that have, take another big breath in to fill up your lungs, stick out your chest. Just enjoy this fresh breath for three, two, one, and exhale, let it go. We're going to start to bring some movement back to your body. And I invite you just to rub your fingertips together with your thumb, rubbing back and forth, feeling the gentle friction of your fingertips. Now, maybe you roll out your wrists, roll out your ankles. Maybe you're cracking and popping like I am this morning. Maybe now take a big stretch. Yeah, take a deep breath while you're in this big stretch. And however it is comfortable for you to make your way back up to a seated position, go ahead and do that now. Maybe that's rolling over to one side, gently pressing up off the ground. And when you're ready in that seated position, go ahead and make your way on back. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for today's breathwork training session. This was one of the most challenging versions that we would put out publicly. If you're able to do all the exercises, I commend you. You really brought your mental resilience to today's training session. And if you didn't, that's perfectly fine as well. Again, our goal was to make some altitude adaptations today, and I hope that we did that. Those of you that are new to either this channel or our community platform, I invite you to contribute to our community platform. That's just at community.recaltravel.com. It's the place where all of our mountain athletes join. We've got hundreds of athletes on that platform. We collaborate on ideas. You get to meet people potentially through that platform that are doing similar mountain challenges that you might have for yourself. It's a great place for us to meet, collaborate, and where I also share a lot of breathwork related tips. Thank you all so much again for joining today's Monday morning breathwork training session. I will look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Have a good week. Bye, everybody.